Is good, yo? It's your boy Ty back here with another video, and in this video today, we're gonna be filling out my 2022 NCAA Tournament bracket. So, we got all these teams, 68 teams. I'm not predicting these down here because I really, I got some thoughts with these, but I'm going to be filling out this bracket today. Now, I want to start off this video by saying, I used to watch a lot more NCAA basketball than I do now. I feel like I watch a lot more NBA now than I do NCAA tournament. So, for example, a team like Seton Hall, I haven't seen much of Seton Hall or even like the SEC. I do watch a lot of Big Ten basketball. So, the Michigans, the Iowas, all those guys. I've seen a lot of those types of teams play. So just kind of want to go over and tell you guys that. Now, before we dive any further into this video, if you are new to my channel or have not yet, make sure to smash that subscribe button as we're on the road to 90,000 subscribers. The overall #1 seed is the Zags, Gonzaga, guys. So obviously, I don't think Georgia State is going to get it done. Wasn't Georgia State the team that had, I can't even remember his name, but the coach and, I don't even remember what happened, but like a coach and his son on the team a while ago. I think that was the team, but I definitely expect the Zags to get it done. Now, Boise State, Memphis. This is one I really am not sure. I haven't watched a lot of these teams play. I did watch Memphis play Iowa State earlier this year, and they were interesting. They just, I don't think have ever put it together. They got a lot of talent. But I don't think they have ever, put it together, right? They do have nation's 2 out of 5 incoming players, but again, I just don't think Memphis has ever put it together. I know the users' pick's going to lean towards Memphis. They probably got more talent. I'm leaning with the Broncos at a Boise State. New Mexico State as well as Connecticut. Now, the coach for New Mexico State, man, low-key know him a little bit. So, look, man, New Mexico State, it seems like year after year is always in the tournament. Don't know much about UConn, to be honest with you. Here's the deal, though, guys. When it comes down to it, I don't like New Mexico State this year. I just don't. There's always 5 to 12 matchups I like. Just am not liking the Aggies out of New Mexico State. Arkansas, Vermont. I do think this is a game in which Arkansas can find themselves getting beat. I feel like people are sleeping on Vermont, and that, Vermont is just not necessarily getting the respect. I know a lot of the times it's 5 versus 12 types of games. I think it's the 4 and 13s this year that can get some things done. I like Vermont. Now maybe it's because I'm just not as high on Arkansas. Give me Vermont, man, over Arkansas. Alabama versus Rutgers and Notre Dame. Now, I do think Rutgers is going to beat Notre Dame. That's just my biased opinion. Obviously, there's just something about Bama. I mean, guys, they've got 13 losses, and they still found a way somehow to get a 6 seed. So I don't necessarily know exactly how that works, but it's just interesting. It's just super interesting to me. The fact that, they ended up getting a 6 seed. I do think they're going to get it done. But, I mean, if they don't, even if they do, they're going to be a second-round exit. Texas Tech. Let me start and say I love Texas Tech. I love the way they play. They got O'Banner on the team transferred in. I just love what Texas Tech, just has in general. They've got a lot going on for their team, pretty deep overall. You can see their key player, their best player maybe. They're just a balanced team, plays a lot of defense. I like Texas Tech. Michigan State, Davidson. No, Davidson just lost their conference tournament in Michigan State. They've just been up and down all year. I know a lot of people, the popular pick might be Davidson in this upset. I'm not taking Davidson in this upset. I think Michigan State just has a lot of talent in general. And obviously they're gonna have to make a run, and they're a team that can definitely do it, especially under Tom Izzo. So don't be surprised if Davidson wins. I'm taking the Michigan State Spartans, though. Duke versus Cal State Fullerton. Look, I'd be lying to say I know anything about Cal State Fullerton, but if Duke loses round 1, look, man, they just got it. Over here to the south, reason we got Arizona versus Wright or Bryant. Look, doesn't Bryant have like the leading scorer, Peter Kiss? Yeah, they do. The Bryant, don't be surprised if Bryant does something with Peter Kiss on the squad. but I have a hard time seeing them beat the Wildcats from Arizona. TCU Seton Hall, this one's an interesting 8-9 matchup. I feel like a lot of these I like looking at the team comparison here, because again, a lot of these teams I don't know too much about. You got a TCU team who has a little tougher schedule. They played in the Big 12, but I mean, the record versus the top 25 is pretty impressive. 5-6 is pretty solid in general. Again, I don't know enough about it. It's either of these teams to really, lean one way or another. I am going to give the Horned Frogs the slight advantage. Houston or UAB? I know Houston's a team last year that I picked to go away. I did. Marcus Sasser is back in action, and that's the thing. That's the thing. You got Marcus Sasser. Does it say he's out, though? Look, man, if Marcus Sasser is out, I'm sorry, man. I just don't know. Just do not know. But yeah, I had Houston going a long ways. And I guess, yeah, you guys can see star guards Marcus Sasser and Tremont Mark are out for this season. So, that's tough. That's probably why they aren't as good this year as they have been in years past. Again, I don't watch the American Athletic Conference too much. But if you got a 5-12 matchup, this might be the one to look at. This might definitely be the one to look at. Give me UAB over Houston. I know Houston's done stuff in the past. I don't expect it to be here. A lot of people like Chattanooga. I don't know enough about them, but a lot of people like Chattanooga. Illinois is one of those teams, though, that is dangerous. They're dangerous. They're super, super, super dangerous. They got Kofi on the inside. Their guard plays pretty solid in Trent Frazier. I mean, they just got a lot of guys in general that can do some things. They really do. I know a lot of people might not hype up Illinois, but I'm a hype up Illinois. Give me Illinois over Chattanooga. Colorado State, Michigan. Michigan somehow made the tournament and didn't even have to play in a playing game. Don't necessarily know how that works. You got a 2-7 record versus top 25. I get it, the third hardest strength, the schedule gets them in, but I don't know. This is one that a lot of people might pick Michigan over Colorado State. I'm not one of them. Give me Colorado State over the Wolverines of Michigan. Tennessee versus Longwood. Iowa beat Longwood by a score of 106-73 earlier. If you think Longwood is going to even compete in this game, you are wrong. Give me Tennessee. Ohio State, Loyola Chicago. This might be the game I'm most excited about in general. This is a game, flip a coin, man. Flip a coin. This type of game, Loyola's always tough, man. They're in the Missouri Valley Conference, and I don't care what you guys think about the Missouri Valley. It's not bad. You got some teams in there that can definitely compete and play some basketball. Loyola, they're a tough team. They're always going to be a tough team. Ohio State, after a really disappointing NCAA tournament run last year, they got bounced by Oral Roberts, as you guys can see. I don't know. A lot of people probably are leaning Loyola, and I'm one of them. Give me Loyola Chicago. Their success in the NCAA tournament is going to bounce them into the second round. Villanova, Delaware. Again, a matchup I don't know too much about. I'm going Nova, though. Jay Wright's going to have those boys playing. On to the East region, we got Baylor versus Norfolk State. Look, Norfolk State's not terrible. And as a 16 seed, this might be the 16 seed that I think has a legitimate shot. And I'm not saying that it's not going to happen, but it could happen. I definitely think that this Norfolk State team could make a run. Joe Bryant Jr. and the crew against Baylor. Look, Baylor, I don't know. I don't know how they ended up getting that 1 seed, but give me over Norfolk State. I do think that game is probably going to be the closest at all the 1-16s. No, I really do. North Carolina Marquette. I feel like Marquette is a team again. The only reason I know a lot about Marquette is because they had a lot of people that I've known it once. They really did. But now it's just a different team. The Hausers don't play there anymore. I think they had DJ Carton there a little while, but now it's just a completely different team. I don't know too much about them, but here's the thing, guys. Here is the thing. North Carolina, I feel like, is getting hot at the right time. I definitely do. North Carolina is not a team I think people want to see right now. Give me UNC in the squad. If Baylor and North Carolina make it to that second round, that will be a very fun and entertaining matchup. St. Mary's versus the winner of Wyoming and Indiana. St. Mary's win over Gonzaga was huge. That was huge because that boosted them way up into this 5 seed. it's crazy to me that Iowa, right? Remember, St. Mary's is 25-7, okay? Their strength of schedule is boosted, obviously, because of the Zags. But, I mean, look, guys, here's the deal. I'm not super high on St. Mary's. I think the Hoosiers beat Wyoming, and I do think the Hoosiers advance to round 2. I know St. Mary's, they're tough. I watch them when they play Gonzaga. I like what Indiana does, though. And I just think they're a tough matchup for anybody to play. UCLA versus Akron. Never, ever seen Akron play. I don't know what Akron really has going on for it. But here's what you got to look at for Akron, right? It says they added a deadliness from deep late in the season. And in 5 regular season games, then making 46% of the 3-pointers in the tournament. Here's the deal, guys. If there are upsets to happen, it's going to be because of the 3-point ball. I don't think they're going to beat UCLA, but don't be surprised if they make a run at them. Texas, Virginia Tech. Give me the Longhorns out of the Big 12 over Virginia Tech. Again, a 6-11 matchup that should be a really, really fun and entertaining one. I like Texas over Virginia Tech. Purdue and Yale. I just feel like Yale always finds a way to be in the NCAA tournament. 6th NCAA tournament and 3rd in the last 7 years. Again, I feel like they're always here. Princeton, they beat a really, really solid Princeton team to get in the tournament. I feel like, obviously, this is a tough matchup. I like Purdue. I like a lot of the Big Ten schools, so give me Purdue. Murray State versus San Francisco out of the West Coast. It just seems like a lot of these West Coast Conference teams are getting boosted. Here's a weird one, right? You got a 7-10 matchup of teams from really small conferences. It's just a really interesting and weird one. See, the net rank is really close. You got San Fran, who's played way tougher strength of schedule. I think Murray State's a team that can make a run. I really do. I think Murray State is a team that you do not want to see in the second round. Obviously, I got Kentucky over St. Peter's, but stay tuned for that second round matchup. Over to the Midwest region, Kansas over either the Texas teams. You got Texas Southern versus Texas A&M. I mean, it could be a interesting matchup. Creighton, San Diego State. This is an interesting game here because here's the deal. You lost 5 starters from a Sweet 16 a year ago. Then lost a freshman guard. You guys can see what happened. I mean, Creighton is still a 9 seed after all that, but I just think this is going to be an 8-9 matchup in which San Diego State just runs away with it. Iowa, Richmond. I know a lot of people, guys are like, man, the 5-12 matchup. If Iowa loses to Richmond, I don't even know what I will be able to say. It's just should not happen. I mean, it definitely should not happen. I mean, the Richmond Spiders are just in general not great. They're not a team that even should be able to compete in this game. I think Iowa wins by double digits. Providence versus South Dakota State. I know a guy plays for South Dakota State. I named Luke Apple, man. Tough 6-man for the Jackrabbits. They went undefeated in conference play. 30-4 overall. I honestly thought South Dakota State deserved a 12 seed. This is not the matchup you want if you are Providence. I'm just telling you guys do not want to play South Dakota State round 1. It's a dangerous game for the Providence Friars. Give me the Jackrabbits over Providence in round 1 of the NCAA tournament. LSU, Iowa State. Both these teams are just... these teams, this might be the ugliest first round matchup there's going to be. LSU fired their coach. Iowa State, you guys can see in the last 10 what they've been doing. They don't even know how to score the basketball. This has just been terrible. Iowa State had a hot start to the season. Now I just don't even know what's going to go on. I'm going to go with LSU. I don't like either of them. Wisconsin and Colgate. A lot of people do not like Wisconsin. I don't know why. I don't know what it is, but a lot of people do not like Wisconsin. Colgate's dangerous, though. I'm just throwing that out to you guys. Colgate is definitely dangerous. You guys can see hottest teams, one of the hottest teams in the NCAA. I think it's going to be a close game. Give me the Badgers, though, in a close competitive game. USC versus Miami. I like USC. I definitely do like USC. I saw a lot from USC. I know that it's a different team last year, but I mean, I saw a lot from them, and I'm taking them. Auburn, Jackson State. I did not like Auburn. But I guess you'll give me him over at Jackson. Is that Jackson State or Jacksonville State, right? Jackson State. Okay. Jacksonville State. Here we go. On to round 2. Okay, Gonzaga, Boise State. If it gets here, I think people are gonna sleep on Boise State. I really do. I like the Broncos out of the Mountain West, but it's tough to ever bet against the Zags. Zags got a pretty easy path up there, and they deserved it after what they've done this year. Connecticut versus Vermont. This is a game that I think could be really interesting, right? Obviously, Connecticut probably way more talent. You got Vermont, though, who's played well. They lost one conference game. I just think, in general, Vermont is very talented, or maybe not as talented as Connecticut, but can pull the upset off. I like the Huskies over Vermont, though. Bama, Texas Tech, I'm not even looking in depth. I do not like Alabama this year. I know, the strength of schedule says first, whatever, which probably makes them deserve that, but they've lost a lot of games. You guys can see the record versus top 25 is solid, but so is Texas Tech. I like Texas Tech. I feel like as a 3 seed, they are the toughest 3 seed in the entire bracket. Michigan State and Duke. Give me Sparty Tom Izzo in the Michigan State Spartans over the Duke Blue Devils. Michigan State has not played well as of late. I get that. I know that. But I feel like Tom Izzo is going to get these guys going. Really do. I know it's Coach K's last season, whatever. Tom Izzo's getting them up out of there. Arizona, TCU. I like the Wildcats of Arizona over TCU. Illinois, UAB. Give me the Illini out of the Big Ten. Colorado State, Tennessee. I know I'm not trying to just be chalky, but hard time seeing Colorado State beat Tennessee. Whoever Villanova plays in the second round, whether it is Loyola Chicago, whether it is Ohio State, that is a tough second round matchup. Villanova is just a little more battle tested. I'm going to give them the slight edge over Loyola Chicago out of the Missouri Valley Conference. Kansas, San Diego State, give me the Jayhawks. I don't necessarily love the Jayhawks. I know they won the Big 12 tournament. I don't necessarily love them. Taking them over the San Diego State Aztecs. Iowa and South Dakota State. South Dakota State is good. One thing with Iowa that I felt like all year until the very end of the season is they've always taken care of business. They beat the teams they're supposed to beat. And against top teams throughout the year, they just have not been great until the very end. I do like Iowa. They got a lot of experience. I'm going to take them over the Jackrabbits heading into that Sweet 16 matchup against the Jayhawks of Kansas. LSU, Wisconsin. I do not like LSU or Iowa State. It's one of the reasons I like Wisconsin in this NCAA tournament a lot. Auburn, USC. Look, there's just something about USC that I like. I don't like Auburn too much. Give me USC to upset Auburn in that second round of action. So the Trojans over Auburn. Now, guys, now we are almost to the Sweet 16 round, but we do got to go to the East first. Baylor to UNC. I think this matchup is going to be a really good matchup if it gets here. I might be biased, but give me North Carolina over Baylor in a close game. I know a lot of people love Baylor. I just think UNC is one of those teams that nobody wants to see right now. Indiana versus UCLA. If it gets to be Indiana versus UCLA, this is another really going to be a tough battle. I do like the Bruins out of the Pac-12. Texas, Purdue. A very sweet match. I would love to see this matchup. Again, Texas seems like they struggle against top 25 teams. You look at the last 10. Haven't necessarily been playing the best basketball. I do think it's going to be a close game, but give me Purdue over Murray State, Kentucky. Here's a game. Here's a game that is going to be a lot of fun if it does get here. It's just going to be a lot of fun. Murray State, very fun team to watch. You guys can see kind of the team comparison here. Give me Murray State. This is our upset bracket. We got North Carolina taking out the 1 seed, Murray State taking out the 2 seed. The East is a mess over there. Connecticut, Gonzaga. This game, I want to see. I want to see this game because I like Connecticut. I feel like, last year they had some guys that could do some things. This year, I feel like if they get things going in their direction, it is going to be tough to beat them out of the Big East. I'm going to take Gonzaga, but I think that could be a very fun in a matchup in general. Texas Tech, Michigan State. Tom Izzo's run comes to an end. Texas Tech, I absolutely love them out of the Big 12. I think they can make some noise. So we got, Gonzaga, Texas Tech, Elite Eight matchup would be a lot of fun. Arizona, Illinois, right? Arizona's a team I'll be the first to say I haven't watched a lot of this year. Whereas Illinois, I've watched a ton. I've watched a ton of Illinois. Now, I know that everybody wants to see Arizona make it far. But I think if there's a team that can do it up here in this region, it's Illinois. Give me the Illini on to the Elite Eight after a very, very disappointing year last year. Villanova, Tennessee. I'm not super high on the SEC in general, but Tennessee's been playing well lately. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Tennessee's been playing well lately. It's one of those things that a lot of people just are going to like Villanova. They shoot free throws well. It's a traditional Villanova type team. I like the Vols of Tennessee over Villanova. Heading down, let's do the Midwest region, Kansas versus Iowa. For the first time in a long time, Iowa is starting to get, in my opinion, more respect than they should. Not more. They deserve it, right? Iowa is a team that nobody wants to see. Of the last 10, they're 8-2. They beat some really tough opponents in that stretch as well. About have a win over Illinois in that stretch and a narrow loss on the road. I feel like if there's one team in the Big Ten that is playing the best basketball right now, it's Iowa. Better than Wisconsin. Better than whoever else. I looked at the odds of the NCAA tournament, and I do believe that I have this right when I say Iowa has the best odds out of all Big Ten teams to win the NCAA tournament. So, with that being said, you got Iowa versus Kansas. This matchup would be a lot of fun. This is where I have Iowa's fun run coming to an end. I mean, they make it to the Sweet 16. I just have it coming to an end against a tough Jayhawks team. But don't be surprised if the Hawkeyes get it done in the Sweet 16 over Kansas. Wisconsin, USC. Again, I like Iowa better than Wisconsin, but when you compare it side by side, USC is not what the Jayhawks are. Give me Wisconsin in a blowout over USC. Purdue, Murray State. Tough game right here. Murray State makes to the Sweet 16. Has some things going for them. I just think Purdue, man, they're going to get it figured out. I know Iowa beat them in the Big Ten championship, but I like what Purdue's got going. Matt Painter's got them boys playing at a very, very high level. North Carolina versus UCLA. Again, kind of one of those matchups. Again, North Carolina, nobody wants to play them. They've been playing really well lately. I'm going to take UCLA over North Carolina. So, here's what we got in the Elite Eight. We got Gonzaga versus Texas Tech. We got Illinois versus Tennessee. 1-seeded Kansas versus Wisconsin. And 4-seeded UCLA versus Purdue. So, headed up here, we got Gonzaga versus Texas Tech. Everybody is just shooing in Gonzaga into the Final Four. I'm not one of them. Give me Texas Tech over Gonzaga. I know Gonzaga has played well, but the 3-seeded Texas Tech Red Raiders is not a team you want to see. The Illini versus Tennessee. I know a lot of people like Tennessee. They've been playing really well lately. Got them guys playing, but I do think Illinois is just going to figure it out. I don't know how. Think they're going to figure it out, though, and find themselves in that Final Four. Kansas, Wisconsin. Look, man, I'm hoping Kansas finds a way to lose early. I don't want to see Bill Self get those boys into the Final Four, but I feel like their road outside of Iowa is set up perfectly. 2-seeded Auburn, not great. 3-seeded Wisconsin, not great. 4-seeded Providence, not great. You really got the 5-seed Iowa as the second best team in this region, in my opinion, and I do think the Jayhawks take care of them. UCLA, Purdue sets up for a fun matchup. You got the Pac-12 UCLA Bruins versus the Big Ten Purdue Boilermakers. I think this is going to be a fun matchup if it gets here. Both these teams have been open. Give me UCLA out of the Pac-12 to represent that conference. So we got a Big 12 team, got a Big 10 team, got a Pac-12 team, and then another Big 12 team. I do think the Big 12 has been the best conference this year. So, I mean, that's where I've got it. First, we got Texas Tech versus UCLA. A lot of people probably don't have these guys getting here. You got the net 9th team versus the net 10th team. Both the teams have been playing decently well lately. I feel like Texas Tech has been playing well. Even though they did lose to Kansas in the championship, I do expect them to beat UCLA. And then we got the Illini versus the Jayhawks. If the Illini get here, they're going to obviously make a very, very nice and deep run into the NCAA tournament. I just think Kansas is going to be too much. Which sets us up for a Texas Tech Red Raider versus Kansas Jayhawk rematch in the NCAA tournament. And this would be a treat because these two teams get really gritty, and I feel like this would be such a fun game to watch. I do think in the rematch, Texas Tech gets the job done over the Kansas Jayhawks and is your NCAA tournament. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Do you guys think this bracket is good? I feel like I tried to take all bias aside. Obviously, I watch the Big 12, Big 10 more than anything else. If there is a conference I don't necessarily love, it is the SEC. I've watched it. I'm not super high on it. So you guys see Kentucky losing early, Auburn losing early, Tennessee making the Elite Eight, but falling to Illinois. So you're an SEC fan, I'm sorry. I just do not love the SEC in general. But this is my bracket. I want to know your guys' thoughts down below in the comments. Let me know. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, and as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.